Vote, Rochelle,
Aye.
Susan,
Aye.
Elizabeth, Philip,
Aye.
Eric,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Lorene, aye. Ayes have it, motion is carried. Order of business, public appearances. Our first speaker today is Jill Bortera.
I was hoping not. Good evening. My name is Jill Bortera. I have lived in the district for 24 years, and I celebrated my 22nd year with the Monona Grove School District in March of this year. Over the past 22 years, I have worked in 3 schools, worked for 7 principals, and worked under 3 superintendents. Since I was not part of the closed session discussion regarding the collective bargaining strategy for support staff, I'm uncertain about what approach to take when addressing you tonight. For those who support the board voluntarily recognizing the administrative assistance group, I express my gratitude to you for acknowledging the preferences of 86% of our administrative assistants. It reflects a professional approach and provides us with a platform to voice our concerns. Your support makes our group feel heard and valued. For those of you who are opposed to our request, I have a few thoughts I would like to share. What purpose does denying our request serve? From our perspective, it feels that you want to stifle our voices. Forcing us to form our own bargaining unit will breed animosity and will send a clear message that you do not want to hear from us and we are not valued by you. At its core, this issue is about respect, respecting the requests of employees and the MGEA. How do you justify denying a request that is supported by 86% of an employee group? As the face of the schools and the district, administrative assistants are often the first point of contact for parents and visitors. Every day we are reminded by our colleagues at school that they rely on us to keep the school running smoothly. In our schools, we are respected. Where is the respect from the board and the administration? Rejecting our request will not deter us from joining the MGEA. It will only introduce more obstacles for us and will not change the outcome. It would be an inefficient allocation of time and resources, fostering division among support staff rather than unity and goodwill toward the board. Having to form our own bargaining unit will mean we spend even more time and resources on this issue and will give the board one more employee group to bargain with. Incorporating the administrative assistants into the existing support staff unit is no different than including counselors, social workers, nurses, and school psychologists within the teacher bargaining unit. Excluding administrative assistants is not equitable or inclusive and is not in keeping with the district's mission. Thank you for your time.
Jill, next is Brian Friedrich.
Good evening, everyone. I am Brian Frederick, a resident of Cottage Grove, 8th grade social studies teacher at GDS. This is my 28th year at Monona Grove and my 33rd year overall in education. Tonight I am speaking to you as the president of the Monona Grove Education Association and addressing obviously the petition that you have presented with concerning our administrative assistants joining the MGA. At this point, I'm assuming all the legal questions have been washed to the side. That there are no legal questions or barriers from allowing the administrative assistants and allowing you to accept their petition this evening. Obviously, everyone is aware that 19 out of 22 of your current administrative assistants in this district have signed that petition. 86% apparently is the percentage number. However, there appears to be a new concern that has been brought forward that somehow the paraprofessionals that are members of the MGA have had no voice in this decision, perhaps not aware of the decision. So I want to spend some time trying to explain to people how the MGA actually works and how we actually exist. Because anyone making such a claim that the current paraprofessionals that are members of the MGA are unaware, do not understand, have not had a voice, are not accurate. The MGA is a democratically elected representative association. Members voluntarily join. Every year, the teaching staff and para staff for the Monona Grove School District must recertify their representation in a state-sanctioned election. In that then the MGA can represent them in compensation matters and employee rights. Every year, the MGA recertifies at over 90% of the over 300 staff members who are eligible to vote in that recertification election. Last year, we recertified at 92%. Mind you, if someone does not vote, that counts as a no vote. In last year's recertification, we had one no vote. That was it. Furthermore, the MGA members elect their leadership. They elect a president, a vice president, a secretary, and a treasurer. Those officers conduct executive board meetings at least once a month, more often when necessary, and this has been a year when we have had more than one a month. That exec board consists of the officers that I just mentioned, building reps from every single building in the district. The exec board also includes the president of the Monona Grove Education Paraprofessionals Unit. The exec board also contains paraprofessionals from across the district also. This exec board makes formal agendas, has meetings, makes decisions that are all communicated to all MGA members.
Brian, we're at time if you want to just wrap up.
Sure. Let's just say that the MGA strongly ask you, as was just presented by a different speaker, to end this tonight. There is no legal question. There's no question of MGA support. There is no question of paraprofessional support for the petition that is in front of you. Thank you.
Is there anything else related to MGEA that would be relevant and important to this issue and how MGEA makes decisions?
As I sit here tonight, I am not speaking as Brian Frederick. I am speaking as an elected representative that just left an exec board meeting this past Tuesday. And this is our recommendation and our democratically elected representative association's recommendation to accept this. And I'll also say this, these people are the face of your buildings. They are the first face that people see when they enter the door. They are the voice at the end of the phone. They are the people that sit in your office and have countless kids enter into that office with endless concerns of things that I can't even fathom. They are the place that your principals go to, your staff go to with questions, anything from where in the heck are the hall passes to how do we do our budget requests to anything else we can't find or understand. They are a truly valuable part of our education community.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Next is Jackson Blair.
Hi, my name is Jackson Blair. I have been a special ed assistant at Glacial Drumlin Middle School for 2.5 years now. I have also been a member of the MGEA Paras Bargaining Committee since this past fall. I am here to speak in support of the board voluntarily recognizing the administrative assistants as members of the MGEA. My time as a member of the MGEA has provided me with the opportunity to collaborate with paras from other schools in our district and has granted me the ability to work with my colleagues and board members on wage agreements between the MGEA and the Personnel Committee. This experience has further enriched my role in the district, and I believe that our administrative assistants are deserving of the same opportunity. Like us paras, our administrative assistants are essential pieces of the puzzle in our district. We all have an equally great impact on the lives of our students and the functioning of our schools. As such, it is only fair to respect the will of this highly important group of people. Recently, as we know, 19 out of 22 administrative assistants district-wide signed a petition to be seeking MGEA representation. This is why on the MGEA Paras bargaining team, we are welcoming of the administrative assistants in our bargaining unit. As you all know, we have a long history of positive labor relations between the board and the MGEA. That being said, respecting the will of 86% of admin assistants in our district is a great way to continue that tradition and maintain the strong relationship that we have. Saying no to voluntary recognition does not even prevent administration assistants from joining the MGEA. All it does is create more barriers for them, requiring admin assistants to file a certification petition and extending the process by at least 6 weeks, which will simply delay their ability to bargain over next year's base wages. I once again urge the board to consider a yes vote to recognizing admin assistants as MGEA members and to respect the will of our wonderful administrative assistants. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackson. Last is Chris Halverson.
Everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. Some of you know me, but for those who don't, my name is Chris Halverson, and I'm currently an administrative assistant at Granite Ridge School. Over my 20-plus years in this district, I've worked in 6 of our 7 schools, and I've held many titles: substitute teacher, pre-K ed assistant, lunch lady, health room assistant, administrative assistant, among other sports things, I suppose. Chain gang, that was one of my favorite. This year, I celebrate being a 30-year resident of Monona and a 27-year member of the Monona Fire Department, and I currently serve there as the safety officer. Our group recently reached out to Mindy Doris about MGEA representation. All employees in administrative assistant positions were offered the chance to sign the electronic petition to determine their level of interest in union affiliation. The response was fairly incredible. It was decisive, and it was almost unanimous. 86% of our assistants said they did desire representation. Yes, they all simply agreed it was time to have their voices be heard and to have access to representation to this board. I'm here tonight to ask you all to please vote yes to voluntarily adding our administrative group to the MGEA. Your yes vote says that you value us in this group. After all, we are the front line and the faces of the Monona Grove School District. It says you value our voices and that you respect the work we do for our families and for all of our stakeholders. Your yes vote says that you believe in the mission of this district to be equitable and inclusive of all groups. Your yes vote today says to us that you do not want to put barriers in the way of any employees who are only asking to be heard and respected for the things that they do. Conversely, your no vote sends a message to this group and to other groups that you do not value and respect us, nor do you value the day-to-day work that we do day in, day out with the dedication and pride. Your no vote only serves to serve the purpose of creating animosity, sometimes hostility, and would be interpreted as an effort to quiet our voices and our intentions. Lastly, your no vote would not change the outcome of this matter, will only needlessly delay it and introduce unnecessary obstacles to representation. I hope I speak for all of our group, and I'm fairly certain that I do, when I say that I sincerely hope you can find a way to do the right thing, and please vote yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you to all of our speakers today. Right.
Could I just note that we're not noticed for taking any action on this issue tonight, so that we can't, we're not legally able to take any action on this issue tonight.
I have a motion for the consent agenda.
I move the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Roll call vote. Rochelle?
Aye.
Susan? Elizabeth?
Aye.
Philip?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Peter?
Aye.
Maureen? Ayes have it. Motion is carried. All right, next are recognitions.
Okay, I'd like to start the recognitions. In the consent agenda just approved, we have 2 retirements. Jean Delcourt just completed 5 years at MG21 as a teacher, and Chris Olson, who is a middle school math teacher, will be just in her 27th year as a teacher in the district. Congratulations to Jean and Chris on your impending retirements. One Winnequa student won the Monona PTO raffle and joined Principal Angie Fassel as Principal Luella for one morning this week. She brought in muffins for the building staff to start the day, then spent time making a school announcement, visiting classrooms, checking on the snack cart, reading to a kindergarten classroom, and having important meetings, among other things. Thanks Monona PTO for the wonderful opportunity for our students to practice their leadership skills. Congratulations to our middle school students who competed last month at the Regional Science Olympiad competition in Milwaukee. Since last year, the team size has doubled, and they brought home first place in robocross, second in flight and air trajectory, multiple third and fourth place finishes across various events. They traveled to UW-Stevens Point for the state competition this weekend, and we wish them the best of luck. Thank you to the anonymous donor who shared a generous $10,000 donation through the Monona Grove Education Foundation to be used by our middle and high school bands. And Monona Grove fielded 2 teams of 5th and 6th graders for the Escher Regional Math Meet this week, with 1 team securing first place. Congratulations to every student who participated, as we wish the winning team good luck as they prepare for the Mega Math Meet in May, held at the UW Math Department.
I just would like to make a quick comment and a thank you to Principal Fassel for delighting my daughter, who was principal for the day. She said afterwards that it was one of the best days of her life. So I really appreciate the effort that went in, both from the principal and anyone else involved at Winnequa in putting that together. That was really special for her. So thank you.
Elizabeth?
I also wanted to acknowledge that Maggie Sana, our food services director, is actually at the USDA Meal Summit this week, presenting on some of the great work that our food and nutrition services staff have been doing. So pretty exciting.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Next is correspondence.
I want to thank you, Lorene, for serving on the board, and that this is your last meeting.
Niall.
And really appreciate all of the time that you committed to serving our community. So thank you.
Thank you. Going to respond. It's been an honor to serve this district for the past 5 years. Wow. And serve as president for the past 3. Yeah, I'm almost like in tears because that's how much I love this role. But I feel good with the next board. Awesome. Congratulations, Janice. Welcome on. I feel good, and I know that you will carry on all the things that I was, focused on. So just thank you again. Great. Next are administrative reports. Director of Business Services, Mark Powell.
Yeah, I just wanted to provide an update, which isn't much of an update for the 24-25 budget. We are still making the assumptions that I present and timelines that I presented in February as far as the revenue based on the second year of the biennial budget and expenses based on the information provided there. And at the bottom is a calendar updated as of today for the next few months and the budget process and approval of the budget through October. Did provide a little bit of a synopsis in the beginning of the memo about where we are on staffing. You can see a little history of our EAs and our certified staffing there and where we're projected to go next year based on the staffing report that Dan provided last month or February, whichever it was, and that we anticipate being over in the salaries and benefits currently by about $300,000 based on our projections and settlements that we've had and the staff that has been hired throughout the year. Some of that will be offset by not filling positions during the year. It's kind of been fluid, as everyone knows, with EAs, and so we're hoping to save some money through that process. But that's kind of where we are now with the budget going forward for 23-24.
No questions? Thank you. Do you have a question?
One of the questions I have is the increase in personnel, is that do we feel that's due to an increase in student enrollment?
Well, it's part of enrollment, but mostly the EAs is needs of the students and some of the, I don't know if Chris is here or not, or Dan can talk to it, but some of the additional needs that we had with the students that came in this year. And then also going forward next year, the teachers is based on class size.
Yeah, and I can just add to that, as Mark said, so the certified staffing plan, that has been before the board, so there are no surprises there. You've seen those positions, and, maintaining class size with additional enrollment was a big part of that jump a year ago with that increase of 10. And there are a couple specialist positions in there as well. The biggest surprise part was with the educational assistants. That increase was directly related to the number of students that we had with IEPs, which was larger than initially planned for.
Krishna?
Yeah, just a quick question for you. Would you mind detailing the specific sources for the increases in utilities and transportation?
Utilities are utilities, electric and gas, water, sewer. Transportation is the busing for students, both special ed and regular ed.
Of course, but I was just wondering if you have any information on topic, like i.e. for transportation, is that due to costs in?
We have a contract that increases every year.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to the superintendent report.
Okay, I have nothing in addition to the report tonight.
All right, moving on to board reports. Teaching, Learning, and Equity Committee, Elizabeth?
Yeah, Peter's actually going to take this one today. He's not in attendance at the meeting.
Yeah, we last met on, actually, what date did we meet on? It was March 20th. And the topic on the agenda was the math curriculum updates, and it was like K-12, it's all across the district where we're implementing new math curriculum. And so what we've got is this illustrative math, K-5. We're in the second year of implementation. Give you the idea of the size of this, that's for just K-12, K-5, that's 80 teachers, 1,500 students. At this point, they've presented some data showing some positive growth that we're seeing, but we mostly talked about the implementation details and the work that's going on to smoothly implement this and integrate this into our curriculum. In the middle school, we have this new middle school math curriculum, which is mid-school math core is the name of it. Again, that's 6 to 8, 10 teachers, 800 students. Again, as we're in the second year of implementation, we heard a lot of details about how that implementation is going and the work that's being done to roll this out, get all of the teachers, up to speed with the new curriculum to make sure that we're delivering effective curriculum. The last thing we heard was the Carnegie Learning High School Math Solutions, which is again a new program. We're in the first year of implementation, so we're just essentially 7 months in. So there's a lot of new stuff going on, and a lot of new training, coaching, and teaching. There's the year before the implementation. There's the summer before. There's a lot of time spent on training and introducing this curriculum, but of course, takes time to get things into the classroom and to get the implementation up to speed. It's always very good to hear the details of the effort that's going in to make for successful curriculum implementations and to monitor and see the improvements, the improvements in instruction and the adoption of the curriculum, how it's going. There's a lot of effort. It's there's a lot of efforts. It's very systematic from the top down, where we look for, starting way back when we start evaluating this curriculum through to implementation. There's a lot of effort that goes into that, and a lot of details, and it's very good to see that. And I always find it very satisfying to see the amount of effort that's going into these implementations. Thank you.
Peter, and thanks, Peter and Rochelle, for holding down the meeting in my absence.
Did I miss anything, Michelle?
Oh, sounded good.
All right.
Great meeting.
Next is the Monona Grove Education Foundation. Susan?
Monona Grove Education Foundation met Tuesday, April 9th at 4 PM. They had several reports. Dan Olson reported on our new superintendent, Tanya Handret, starting July 1, 2024. Then they basically stated that Kathy Klinke and Carrie Robbins are going to represent the Monona Grove Education Foundation at the Senior Awards Night, May 15th at 7 PM. There will be a significant number of scholarships being awarded by the foundation. The other interesting thing is the Education Foundation is collecting all the lost and found winter items at all the schools. They are then going to be cleaned at Klinke Cleaners and redistributed among different buildings for students' use in the schools.
How many trucks is that going to take them?
But
I said, how many trucks is that going to take them?
I don't know, and
Winter lost and found is
they
there?
were kind of laughing about, some little kid is going to say, hey, isn't that my mitten? I don't know. Anyway, but it's just a great idea, and the fact that everybody's kind of pitching in and doing this is interesting, I know. So don't leave anything at the schools, you guys. New business, they did a review of the financial statement, including received revenues and grant expenditures, and they continue to receive donations and contributions and then redistribute that among the district, which is really nice. They did a discussion of grant requests. Basically, the foundation in the past will support a grant request for a year. And the difficulty that they're starting to see is that they actually are forming a group through that, and they come back and ask for a second year of support. So at this point, in terms of, they are basically saying that they're looking at limited support for the second year. Effectively, in the request that was made, was for new student participation, not all student. They weren't supporting each and every student like they did before. So if you have any thoughts about that, you could talk to Education Foundation members. There was no old business. The committee reports, grants and awards, they've allocated funding for new students to the leadership conference request. Play It Forward, they're funding 4 students for driver's education. So we'll have, hopefully our students are getting that education. In communications, Carrie Robbins is updating the website. Fundraising, they're working on another plan. They continue to have really solid, strong donating systems, and that's being very effective for redistribution. The snack pack had a great Easter egg hunt. They had over 250 families. And scholarship requests, basically, Shelby Steele made a request for an after-school Black woman leadership work, and that was approved. And the leadership conference request was approved for $4,000 for the new students. Their next meeting is May 14th at 4 PM.
Thank you, Susan. Next is the Student Board Representative Report. Krishna?
Yes, good evening, and from the district office, we are live on the student report. So the big news currently buzzing around the high school is the musical program. We are excited to present the culmination of 11 weeks of rehearsals this week during our 5 performances of The Wizard of Oz. The iconic show will feature 50 high school cast members, 14 elementary or middle school cast members, 23 stage crew members, and 13 pit orchestra musicians. The program is proud of the fact that the set was built entirely by students in Ryan Stodola's MGHS construction skills class and painted by student volunteers. Tickets are available online for 5 shows stretching from Thursday, April 11th to Sunday, April 14th, 2024. Countless students, faculty, and community members all play a role in bringing a performance to MG each and every year. So we look forward to the show, and we are proud to support our community. Meanwhile, Skills USA is at this very moment, attending their state competition at the Alliant Energy Center. As displayed by triumphant regionals in January, the Monona Grove team has dominated in the competitions of technical math, automotive maintenance, job interview, prepared speech, CO2 dragster racing, and more. Furthermore, the art club is currently creating a Mother's Day card event to sell them in the cafeteria. In addition, foreign languages are currently in the middle of a March Madness bracket. They do this every year. However, instead of taking brackets of college basketball teams, they do a competition of global pop songs. Several songs in French or Spanish created by artists spanning Africa, Asia, and Europe compete in this style of bracket to determine a champion. For the French Mani Musicale, voting on the final round has just closed. I personally voted for Aquabuff. That's not too political. A final champion is soon to be announced, and as far as my sources tell me, Para Viviola, as you can tell I'm not in Spanish, was declared champion of the Spanish Mania Musicale in March. Forensics. After members of the Public Speaking Club Forensics won top marks in districts last March, 7 will be attending state on April 20th. Students compete in a range of topics from farrago, reading a composition of poems with a theme, to solo acting, special occasion dresses, impromptu, and more. Finally, and I just had to bring this up, on Monday, April 8th, students across MG took part in viewing the solar eclipse. However, at least for me, a once-in-a-lifetime moment came when Air Force One flew over the high school during totality, following a visit from President Joe Biden to Madison College. I just had to include that because, let's be honest, how many times and how many places do those events ever coincide? I gotta say, it's nice that the Secret Service finally listened to one of my requests. Monona Grove High School has much to offer in 2024. Each and every day, students, staff, parents, and community members work hard to accomplish impressive feats in our district. I look forward to seeing the magnificent milestones our students will achieve in May and hope that the board and administration will support them in every single effort to get there. Thank you.
Thank you, Krishna, and I'm going to just do another announcement for the Wizard of Oz. I do have a daughter that's in the play too, but I think tickets are selling fast, and so make sure you get your ticket.
Can I just say really quick
Yes.
too? I want to thank all of the staff that helped to support the youth sing the eclipse on Monday. Both my kids came home. They were like, it was epic. It was the best thing that's ever happened. So thanks for making that happen. It was a cool opportunity for kids.
And just one more thing, Lauren Gage. Yeah, now that I'm off the official script, I do have to say the amount of work just put in by Pit Orchestra, not to mention all the construction crews and cast themselves, truly phenomenal. I've never seen anything like it, so please do support them if you can. Thank you.
Right, moving on to possible action items. 2024, 2025 student fee schedule.
Provided you with a list of student fees. There's recommendation not to increase any except for the Buy a Bus program. We're recommending from 100 to 200 one way and 200 to 400 round trip. As you can see, we've had this program in place since 2011, and the cost has not, or the prices or fee has not been increased since then. Right now, based on our parent contract, a round trip round trip per pupil trip is $887. So we think this is in the ballpark to provide this service to parents.
Can I have a motion, please?
I move approval of the 2024-2025 student fee schedule as presented.
Second.
Any further discussion? Yes? Susan?
I do want to mention that understanding we have to do what we have to do to be able to finance the busing, but I do have a concern about that kind of increase on the busing for students. You know, it's always difficult, but we have to cover our budget, so I totally understand that, but.
Yeah, and just as a reminder, for students and families with financial need, the fees are waived.
All right, move to roll call vote. Rochelle?
Aye.
Susan? Elizabeth? Philip?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Peter?
Aye.
Lorraine? Aye. Ayes have it. Motion is carried. All right, moving on to future meeting dates.
Okay, I do have a couple I want to bring to your attention. So we have 3 meeting dates scheduled. Personnel Committee on April 16th, the reorg meeting on the 22nd, and then our first meeting with our ad hoc attendance boundaries on the 29th. And so Personnel Committee members, we have penciled in as a tentative additional date on the 29th, and I didn't get confirmation from everyone. If you could confirm your schedules now, is that a viable date?
Sorry, which date?
29th? That would be in person as well.
Have we seen that? What's the meeting on the 29th?
So right now.
That would also be for an additional bargaining session.
Oh, okay.
They were talking about the meeting on the 29th for adding personnel, but there's also a meeting on 29th for that ad hoc boundaries committee. That'll be the first meeting of that group.
Okay, so my question was, have we seen the committee composition?
Right, so until any new committees are appointed, existing committees can continue their work, okay? And so we do have the first bargaining session scheduled with teachers for the 16th. That will be prior to the reorg meeting. And so we can have that scheduled, and then if there is any change in committee members, we can go from there. But at this point, the current committees continue their work until new committees are
I think
appointed.
Susan was talking about
talking about this.
boundary committee.
Oh, I apologize. I thought you were talking about the other committee.
As far as my understanding is, the board hasn't seen the composition of that committee yet. Have we?
No.
I think we have one final appointment to make, and then I
Yes.
think, then we'll
okay.
share with the board.
Okay,
Yeah, you can announce it now, and then we'll send it out.
I have appointed Peter to that committee.
that's great. But it's also helpful because as board members, we'll be getting feedback from those individuals.
I'll get a
and
memo
so
out
it would be
with-
Yeah,
really
so
nice
now
when you
that,
can.
yeah, so now that
Once
Peter's been officially recognized as a member
you
of the
say
committee,
yes.
we can send out the parent representatives and the faculty representatives on
Great,
that
great,
as well.
great. I just hadn't seen the committee and
Peter was the last piece to the ad hoc boundaries puzzle, and now he's on, so. You'll send it, Dan, or
Okay,
you want me to?
or I'll work with you on that.
Okay.
So just as a reminder, I think it's already been announced, Elizabeth is the chair of the committee, so I'll work with Elizabeth on that communication. Awesome, okay. Okay, then I do have one other thing, policy committee. So again, not knowing whether or not there might be any change in the committee after, the reorg on the 22nd. I did meet with our Neola rep last week. I will be ready to meet within a week or two. So we don't have to decide any dates tonight, but be thinking about that. We definitely would like to get our work done so we get 2 readings in, if possible, before the end of June. And so I can email the current group and decide if you want to schedule something tentatively pending any, potential changes. And so Susan, I'll work with you first on some potential dates in this next month for policy.
So your thought is if we can do a meeting before the reorg meeting on the 20th?
That might be tight, but I'll share some dates with you. But my thought is we get some dates on the calendar. If somehow there's any change in the committee structure and those dates no longer work, we can always reschedule. But at least to get on the calendar of the current committee would be helpful.
Okay, again, I'm not sure that, I'm a little concerned about the direction that we're taking, because we could meet as a committee and start on that work if we could find a date before the 22nd, correct?
Yes, we could. Okay, why don't we talk about that, because I guess that's one of the considerations as
Well,
well.
I'd
Do you want to
also-
start that work before new committee assignments?
It's just that we do have a committee that takes that work on extremely well, and it's a ton of work and lots of hours. So I just thought if we could get that started for whomever may be doing it after the reorg meeting, that might be.
Well, would you like to schedule a date right now? Do you have your calendars?
Why don't you send it out in the email? Because, again, Elizabeth has,
Well,
they both have pretty serious.
I'm open to whatever the group thinks, and I'm happy to schedule now or not. The one thing I would say, Susan, just to consider is because it can take a while to go through Neola update, and we often don't come to agreement on a policy in a single sitting. We sometimes do. What you might run into is like you start, and then you're gonna have to reorient and onboard people kind of midstream. So I tend to agree with Dan that it makes sense to wait
Well,
until
I just think
after the
he
reorg.
often brings us 25 in the committee of the three.
Good news
of us,
is
I'm guessing we often can get through
Okay.
10.
I mean, you
Fortunately,
have-
this is a much shorter
Okay,
update.
well, let's see if we can get them out then.
Again, I mean, the composition of that committee could change depending upon the reorg meeting.
Yep.
Depending upon the president of the board and the appointment of the committees. So I guess I'm asking if you want to try and get some of that work done before that happens. And the other thing is you may put dates out that you can work and the rest of the committee can't match those at this time. So it may be that coincidentally we can't meet before then.
So you just want to email the dates then?
We'll do our normal process. I'll email you. Okay, after-
Dan will send us an email, and again, like right now, I don't even know how many you got.
Yeah.
Often we get 25 to 30.
Just FYI, Dan is just scheduling. I'll be unavailable the 19th and 22nd because it's Passover, in preparation for Passover. So, just not those dates.
All right, my final time of doing this.
Oh, wait, I refuse to second it.
Can I have a motion, please?
Move we adjourn.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain. Dylan, do we get to stay here forever?
Oh my gosh, we'll forever.
We did meeting.
You can vote nay, and you can stay here all night long.
I would not do that to you all. I love you too much for that.
All right, I think that's an aye. All right, motion is carried. Meeting's adjourned.
Thanks, Lorraine.